All right, let's just dive straight into this explainer. Today, we're going to build a foolproof, structured roadmap to literally climb the mountain from financial chaos all the way up to total security. We're looking at a super clear, actionable guide straight from our source material. And look, we all know financial stress isn't just about math, right? It carries a massive emotional weight. The sleepless nights, the constant anxiety of the unknown, it's a really heavy pack to carry. But when things feel that overwhelming, the absolute best antidote is a step-by-step plan. We need to completely strip away the panic and just replace it with process. So that's exactly what we're going to map out together right now.
But hey, before we can even begin our ascent, we have to honestly assess our current reality. So I want you to take a second and answer this honestly. Do you know exactly where your money goes every single month? I know, it sounds like such a simple question, but man, it is incredibly confronting. It's often the hardest question to face because it requires absolute, total transparency with ourselves. But you know what? Ignoring the truth doesn't change it. Honestly, answering this is the only way we're going to establish a firm starting point for the climb.
So here's our step-by-step blueprint. We're moving through 5 critical stages. Facing your financial reality, partitioning your income, cutting non-essential expenses, tackling debt and increasing income, and finally, building your emergency shield. We're starting with the foundation at step 1, and we'll cap it off with a protective roof at step 5.
Okay, let's jump right into step 1, facing your financial reality, assessing the base. The source emphasizes that the very first step requires getting a clear, uncompromising picture of our financial status written down. Honestly, do it on paper, use an app. The tool really doesn't matter, but the physical act of documenting it absolutely does.
To really get a grip on your baseline, you've got to organize your reality into 3 uncompromising buckets. First up is your total confirmed income. Now, this isn't what you hope to make or that potential end of your bonus. No, this is the money that is definitely 100% clearing the bank each month. Then you've got your essential fixed expenses. These are your unavoidable survival costs. Rent, utility bills, loan installments, education. And finally, your variable expenses. These are the things that fluctuate. Groceries, transportation, medicine, stuff like that. By relentlessly dropping your numbers into these exact categories, you get a crystal clear snapshot of your actual financial health. It forces you to stop guessing and start knowing exactly what you need just to keep the lights on.
All right, moving right along to step 2, partitioning your income, structuring your money. This phase is all about taking decisive action before the month even begins. It's making that crucial shift from being purely reactive to being fiercely proactive with every single dollar you bring in.
So, budgeting. It's simply the practice of partitioning your income by dividing it into separate categories at the very beginning of the month, way before any money actually gets spent. And why does this matter so much? Well, human psychology, really. If you just leave a massive lump sum sitting in your checking account, lifestyle creep naturally takes over. You feel flush, you spend impulsively, and suddenly you're wondering where the heck it all went by the 20th of the month. But the crucial point here is to proactively structure your money. You're acting like a CEO, right? You're giving every single dollar a specific job on day 1, because when your money has a job, it magically stops wandering off.
To make this super actionable, the source provides a highly effective framework, splitting your income into 3 distinct slices. 50% goes to your essential needs and family maintenance, 30% is for your daily variable expenses, and 20% gets tucked away for future investments, savings, or debt repayment. Now, let's be real for a second. What if your essential needs are currently eating up, say, 70% of your income? Hey, that happens. The goal isn't to be absolutely perfect on day 1. Actually, scratch that. It's just about having a target ratio to work towards. This framework provides an incredible baseline to start successfully partitioning your income so you can gradually tweak those habits until your reality actually matches your goals.
Moving further up the mountain, we hit stage 3, cutting non-essential expenses, trimming the excess. During a financial crisis, the source notes that it is strictly necessary to be disciplined. You just can't climb effectively if you're lugging around a bunch of unnecessary weight.
And listen, cutting expenses cannot be an isolated, individual burden. It needs buy-in from the whole household. I know, financial conversations are notoriously stressful, but avoiding them, that just breeds resentment. The source lays out a really clear, inclusive 3-step approach. Step 1, sit down with your family. Step 2, openly discuss where expenses can be reduced. And step 3, implement temporary cuts together. When the whole household actually understands the why behind the cuts, when you all share the vision of the summit you're trying to reach, the friction of reducing spending largely disappears. It becomes a team mission, rather than a punishment. So what kind of cuts are we actually talking about here? We have to hunt down those hidden drains on a budget. Typical pre-crisis habits silently bleed our wallets dry. We're talking about eating out multiple times a week, excessive impulse shopping, habitual entertainment spending. But when you shift to smart crisis necessities, the savings are honestly massive. Take buying daily necessities from wholesale markets, for example. Yeah, it takes a bit more effort and planning up front, but buying in bulk can easily shave hundreds of dollars off your annual grocery bill. By comparing our comfortable pre-crisis habits with smart crisis necessities, we find immediate, totally practical ways to save money. And yes, these changes are often temporary sacrifices, but they are absolutely critical to stabilize your finances and finally stop the bleeding.
Which brings us to Phase 4, tackling debt and increasing income, accelerating the climb. Once we've stopped the financial bleeding by cutting non-essentials, we've got to aggressively focus on the next level. The source specifically advises paying off high-interest debt first while simultaneously hustling for new revenue streams.
And where does that new revenue actually come from? Well, it comes from leveraging existing, often overlooked household skills. The text suggests tapping into household income contributions through avenues like tutoring, creating handicrafts, or even starting a small online business. The whole idea is to encourage any family member with these specific skills to pitch in, maximizing the household's total earning power. And let's look at the math for a second. Even bringing in an extra $200 a month from a side hustle can drastically reduce the lifespan of a high-interest credit card loan. When you throw extra income directly at the principal of a high-interest debt, you are literally buying back your own future. It's a total team effort to accelerate your recovery and get those toxic debts wiped out as fast as possible.
Finally, we arrive at Step 5, building your emergency shield, reaching the summit. As soon as your financial situation comes under some semblance of control, our final step is to build an emergency fund before doing literally anything else. This is your ultimate safety net.
3 to 6. This magic number represents the exact months of family expenses you absolutely must keep saved in a secure place. And we're not just talking about your rent here, but your total baseline living costs, those essential fixed and variable expenses we mapped out way back in Step 1, multiplied by 3 to 6 months. Why is this the golden rule of personal finance? Because 3 to 6 months is the average time it takes a person to secure a new job if they're suddenly laid off. It provides a massive buffer against life's absolute worst surprises, giving you the breathing room to recover without just spiraling out of control.
So where should you actually put this financial shield? The source outlines 2 distinct secure options. Option 1 is a high-yield savings account. Option 2 is an easily liquid fixed deposit, or FDR. But why choose one over the other? Well, a high-yield savings account offers incredible flexibility. You can usually access the cash within hours, which is perfect for a sudden medical bill. An FDR, on the other hand, might offer a slightly higher interest rate by locking the money away for a short term, which is honestly great if you want to completely remove the temptation to spend it. Both of these secure options ensure your money is protected and growing, yet totally accessible when disaster strikes. You never want this money locked away where you can't reach it, and you definitely don't want it just sitting there losing its purchasing power to inflation in a standard checking account.
There's a brilliant quote from the source material that really just sums all of this up. This will protect you from taking out new loans during sudden future emergencies. I love that. It perfectly encapsulates why this entire structured climb matters so much. Without that emergency shield in place, the very next unexpected flat tire, broken water heater, or medical bill sends you straight back to the bottom of the mountain. It forces you to swipe a credit card, restarting that vicious, exhausting cycle of high-interest debt all over again. No way we're letting that happen.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this. What is the very first step you will take today to completely climb out of crisis and achieve financial stability? Don't let this just be another piece of information you passively consume. Are you going to continue to let your money manage you, or will you actually take control of the climb? Pick just one action from today's roadmap, whether it's writing down your fixed expenses, having that tough but necessary meeting with your family, or simply researching a high-yield savings account. Just pick one thing and start ascending.